Hi, welcome to the training on how to order a company through CCASA's online ordering. My name is Craig Stevens and I welcome you today for some training. So with this, we're assuming that you already have an account with CCASA online document ordering system. If you haven't, just give the office a call and speak to someone, they'll step you through it. But it's actually quite easy. Off ccasa.com.au, you click register or online ordering, click on register, create an account, verify your email, log out, log back in, you'll be able to order any of the suite of products that we have. So you'll notice under here, there's a whole bunch of documents you can order for this training. We're only interested in companies, but you can order any of the documents here. So if we click on company, this is going to go through how we order a company. So company name is obviously the name that you want to trade as. It'll be a proprietary limited or limited company. Whether you put P2A Ltd on the end or not, doesn't matter for this ordering system. So we'll just call this demo company, okay, proprietary limited. Again, you don't have to pop that on the end. Alternate name and alternate name 2 are not required. If you pop them in, we'll actually test through the ASIC website to see if the name demo company is available. If that's not available, we automatically go to alternate name 1 and then alternate name 2. If they are blank, obviously we won't, we'll contact you and say, name's not available, what would you like to do? So as we run through here, type of company, it's defaulting because obviously I put P2A Ltd limited at the top. State of incorporation, again, companies are federal based, so they operate in all states of Australia. So it's not as critical of what state you pick. Generally, my advice is pick the state that you're based in. So if you're based in New South Wales, pick New South Wales, WA, you get the idea. If you don't, we will default to WA and pop WA in there as a default state of incorporation. So for this, let's pick WA. Okay, so binder, do you want a binder? No, which means you get electronic, or you can pick a burgundy or charcoal binder. Electronic is great. You know, it's a little bit cheaper to purchase, but it also, the documents will be listed here and comes through on email. So we'll go with burgundy for this particular session. So we've filled out all these. Great. Now, ABN required. It is only available to accountants. If you're not an accountant, unfortunately, we can't allow you to have access to the ABN ordering. But if you simply select this, you can see now it's opened up a whole bunch more options through here. So we'll run through this as if you want an ABN. We click next. So main business activity, you'll need to fill out whatever that happens to be. So we'll pop in there selling companies, okay, email for notices. That can be your default email, or you can put in there whatever email you want. We will use that as the system when we're doing the ABN. Business category, put in here companies. Is it urgent? Yes or no? Do you have multiple locations? Yes or no? Application reasoning generally will always be a new business, but again, you can pick what you want. Do you want a tax file number? Yes or no? It's completely up to you. And a cessation date if you're only going to be doing it for a couple of months. We go next, tax agent, okay, will be agent name, okay, your registration number, whatever your registration number happens to be, and the contact name for the registration. We go into next, GST, do you want GST, yes or no? If you hit yes, you see it actually opens up an extra couple of boxes, okay? So they're hidden until you obviously hit yes. Then we go cash, turnover. I'm going to leave it all as default for this, but you can obviously pop that through to whatever information is required for your incorporation. Pay as you go. Again, there's nothing there listed until you hit yes. Then all of a sudden we'll pick this up. So number of employees in this case will be 2, amount withheld, 20 grand, for example, electronic, non-resident reporting. No, so we'll leave that all there. So that's great. So that's how you go through the ABN details. And given that it's only for accountants, you would have all that information quite easily on hand. So what we've got here is registered office and principal place of business addresses. Registered office is generally where you're storing your register, which has all the names of the registers of directors and members, constitution, certificate of incorporation, and all the relevant documentation is stored within that binder as per the Corps Act 2001. If you're not storing any of that information, or if you're processing director changes or member changes, or you're processing the annual review and you are not storing the associated minutes, registers, declarations or whatever is required to effect that, you are in breach of the Corps Act. So I'm sure you all have all those documents, and then when you do changes, you're keeping all those documents. So we would be putting that in there where it says registered office. So you can put in whatever address that happens to be. Generally, it's the accountant's address, but it can be any address these days. And principal place of business, well, it's fairly self-explanatory. It's principally where the business is going to be running from. If they have 10 locations around Australia, where is head office? So where is they principally running the business from? Head office, that's the address you'd be popping in here, okay? If they're both the same, then you don't need to worry about consent because they're operating within the registered office, and principal place of business is the same. They've given consent themselves, so that's quite irrelevant. So fill that information out, and then we go on to the next one. So directors. With a director, this information must be correct, letter perfect, okay? So full name, one thing people don't realise is the full name must be as per the passport of the individual. If you don't, then again, we're in breach of the Corps Act. A lot of people leave out middle names. We are not here to test or check what you're doing, but when the director's identification number is released later this year, early next year, then it's going to be critical that this information is correct. And when it comes time to clean up the database, and directors got to have the DINs, people who have not been filling this information incorrectly are going to have some issues getting stuff brought up to date. But it is doable, and we can certainly help you with that. Date of birth is the full date of birth. Now, tax file number has come up because we asked for an ABN. So because we've said yes to ABN, you need to put in the tax file number. Otherwise, it's very difficult to register your ABN. Country of birth must be the real country, okay, as per the ISO list. So fill that out. Birth city, okay, must be whatever their birth city is. And birth state is either going to be left blank for foreign, or if it's in Australia, you must pick that. It must be complete, okay? So Subiaco, Western Australia, Sydney, New South Wales, whatever it happens to be. The address, it has to be a street address. You cannot use a PO box for a director, and it must be where they live. And that is very critical. A lot of people tend to use fake addresses or addresses of where they run their business from. You're in breach of the Corps Act if you're doing that. The Corps Act requires you to use the address where that director actually lives. And that would be as per the Electoral Commission's address that they have for you. So Electoral Commission and ATO and obviously directors in ASIC really all need to be exactly the same address. And then we pick out there, so address, street address, city, state, postcode, and the country they happen to be in. And that's how we pick the directors, okay? So you can add another, and it comes through here. You can actually drop this down and say, I want to be secretary as well and public officer. Okay, so come through and put ticks on the boxes of those that you want. Okay, so you can just have secretary, you can just have public officer, or you can select whatever you want. Same again, you can just keep adding as many directors as you want. So now if we flick over to the shareholder information, now shareholder is a little bit different. You can use a PO box for a shareholder. So put in the full name. If it's a company, put in ABC Pty Ltd, okay? So we just pop it in. And if it's a company, always please put the letters on the end. If it's limited, just leave it as Ltd. If it's a proprietary limited, just leave it as proprietary limited. Then pop in the ACN number, okay, of that company. The address will be the registered office address of this company, ABC Proprietary Limited, its registered address. Okay, shares generally 90% of the time for our incorporations, people just leave it as ordinary, but you can pick other classes if you want. Be aware the class descriptions on all these may be different to what you think. Everyone who writes their own constitution often will use a different description for the class A class, B class. So A class might have no voting rights but dividend rights. B class might have no dividend but voting. And C might be both voting and dividend rights. So just be aware the rights against these are as per the constitution that we write, not against constitution that somebody else has written. So if you're not sure, give us a call. Happily pass you the description of class or have a discussion with you over the phone. But just be aware that when you're picking different classes, you need to think about what the rights are appended to that. Price per share, again, can be any value. Generally, we always see $1. It has to be in Aussie dollars. We can't work anything else. Paid in full. Okay, if you say no, then you must put in the amount paid. So we can put, 50 cents, for example. Now, one of the questions that gets a lot of people is this non-beneficially held. And the big thing is, you got to think about where are the benefits going. So if a dividend is paid to this particular shareholder, who is going to get the benefits? Is the shareholder getting the benefits directly in their own pocket, or are they holding the shares on trust for someone else? And the benefits are then going somewhere else. So generally, if we've got a family trust, we want to say it is non-beneficially held. And this is where we would put in ABC Unit Trust or ABC Family Trust or whatever you wanted to put in there, okay? Don't worry about whether it's in capitals or lowercase. We can sort all that. So what this means is that when a dividend is paid to this shareholder, ABC, that's the trustee of the ABC Unit Trust, and the dividend dollars are going to the ABC Unit Trust, okay? If it's beneficially held, you take a tick out of there. That means ABC Platinum is getting the money from the dividend direct in their own pocket, not then holding on trust for someone else. If you have a joint member, so we may have a joint member here, which would be, and obviously wouldn't be companies, but you could. Craig Stevens, okay. I'm holding it jointly with Melanie Stevens for the ABC Unit Trust. So that just lets us know when we're setting this up for ASIC on the Form 201. We know that these are joint members being Craig Stevens and Melanie Stevens. We are not getting the benefits, but the ABC Unit Trust is getting the benefits of those shares. And that's what people generally would do. So we cruise on to next. You go current search. No, we don't. Common seal. Again, under our constitutions, the company is not required to use a common seal. However, in saying that, there may be government contracts or banks or things like that will require it. If you want it, just say yes. There is an additional fee for both current search and common seal. Again, you can come back to us at any point in the future and order the common seal. It doesn't have to be done today. Is it an SMSF trustee only? That will change the constitution, which means you cannot use it as a trading company. It must be a special purpose company, and it can only be the trustee effective in SMSF, or it can be a not-for-profit as well. But we won't go into that in this session. View and sign the ASIC form prior to lodgement. That means that if you want us to, we can then send that 201 to you before we lodge it with ASIC, and you can then approve it, or you can obviously deny the lodgement of that in case there's information incorrect. So that's a really good thing. We probably do about 50% of people want to see it, 50% don't want to see it. So consent if the business name is already owned. If the name up here in company information is the same as a business name, we need to know, have you got consent to use it, yes or no? There's also a few requirements that if the business name exists, the directors must be the owners of the business name, or at least if there's one owner of the business name, you've got 3 directors, at least one of the directors owns that business name. Otherwise, ASIC will reject it because it does go for manual lodgement and goes through. So signatory name on the 201, who do you want signing the 201, and where do you want it delivered to? My address, principal place of business, or registered office, okay? And then special instructions. If you want some special instructions, you can type them in here, and you can then get us to do whatever you need to do with the binder. So you may say, send the binder direct to the client at 146 Gloucester Street, but please do not send the invoice. Send the invoice to ABC Accounting, and we'll do exactly that. We'll send the invoice to ABC Accounting, and we'll send the binder direct out to the director if that's what someone wants. Or if you want pickup, you can obviously say, how I want to pick it up. Please have it ready for this particular date and time. So really, that's where you can write some notes if you had some notes. Then you simply click Save and Review, which this obviously will fail because I haven't filled out this information. So that has failed, which is to be expected. And if you get that, just come back in and have a look. So you can see here, this must not be empty. So let's put 116 Dempster Street. We'll say same, yes. So we've now got that criteria fixed. We're just going to loosely fill some information. In here, tax file number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just so we can show you. I wanted to show you the errors that come in here. Let's just pick Esperance because that just happens to be in here. Esperance, bang. We're actually going to delete that second director because I don't want them in there. We'll go next. Craig Stevens' address. We're just going to pop that in there. Make it 4 shares. I'm actually going to delete the joint member out. And now I'll go save and review, and we should go through. So you can see here, this is a review company. Order summary is in draft. Your order number, what you purchase a company, the date and time ordered, which is Eastern Standard Time, company name, and you can see as we go through, and this is the information that I then work on when I generate your ABN. Again, we can only do that for accountants. So it comes through here, tells us what's going on, all the addresses, all the directors' information, okay? It doesn't look pretty, but this is what we work off internally, and there's nothing here going on, no special instructions or anything like that. So once you've done that, then it's just simply place order. Now that will then fire up a whole bunch of emails in the background that you guys don't need to worry about, that we get internally. Once we go in and we go into, well, I'm actually not logged in as an admin, so I can't, but once we approve that order, this will come back and saying approved. It will send you an email and say, that order's now approved. If I just jump onto a different screen, I'm just going to pull this one out, and I will go and I will approve that company order, and we'll see what happens. So I'll just go here, edit. Need to put in the ACN. You can't see what I'm doing because I'm on a different screen. And then we'll come down and I'll go save and review. That registered would be today. And I'll save that and submit. Okay, so that's now been approved. You would have got an email which said you can now come in and see what's going on. And I'll just reload this screen. That's now come up as state as complete. And so when I go in here and go into review, this says awaiting payment, but here's all your documents, okay? So this is what you'll see. You'll get an email saying it's been approved. When you go in and review, it comes down here and here's all your documents. So we can go and have a look at, you can't click these because I haven't set it as paid. Apologies, team. Let's just go back in. I will set that as paid. Boom. Review. Paid. Reload this screen. Okay, so now these are all black. So we can come here, we can say, pick up the overview, for example, and then we can open it. And there's your company binder overview, okay? So all of these documents just open up straight away. They're all PDF and they're all right to go. So bank resolutions, whatever particularly you need, they're all in here, okay, that demo company. So I hope you've enjoyed this training. If you have any questions, please shoot a message through to your consultant at CCASA, the corporate secretary you're dealing with, or to myself, which is Craig at ccasa.com.au. Any of us, I would love to help you. But if you've got any questions, send them through. Otherwise, thank you very much. Bye for now.